If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. These people are crazy.
Of us. That's why we have an income tax in this country that now affects everybody. At first, it was only supposed to affect the very rich, and now we all pay it, don't we?
Tax day, baby. Pay your bill because millions on welfare depend on it. We got fraud to pay for, money going to other countries that give us absolutely nothing in return. Oh, and don't forget the $40 million a week that we're still giving to the Taliban as of today.
Yeah.
But the good news is it's less bad this year than it was over the last 4 years.
Unless you live in New York.
Tax refund, it's because you gave the government an interest-free loan all year. And this is probably the first time I've ever heard the government say this or understand it, that you and I know how to spend our money better than the government.
Right.
President Trump and Republicans in Congress have always believed that the American people know how to spend their money better than the government does.
Thank you, Caroline.
New concept.
The best part about this is the government steals more money from you by forcing you to do the work for them.
Why does skin color automatically impose political beliefs?
Because race has always been identified as a political consideration, not only as it relates to the Constitution of the United States, but also how it is implemented at the state level. That's why these districts were always drawn so that they took race into consideration. So that's my point.
Yes. But why? Why should an enlightened society believe that?
Because of the history of the United States.
Well, there's a history, but as we grow out of that history, which I hope we would have by now, an enlightened society would not say that your skin color, an immutable characteristic, is an indicator of your political persuasion.
We are not quite living in the future.
Well, if you want to start living in the future, you have to go back to original principles, and original principles say that immutable characteristics,
the original principle was slavery was
such
legal.
As skin color should not be an indication of your character. That's an original principle. That's a foundational liberal principle.
In a constitution where slavery was legal,
and then we fought a war to end it.
I know
because of our Declaration of Independence and the values, those original principles that we stated there. That was used as the argument against slavery by the Republicans.
So men are much better at resolving conflict and then moving on, whereas women tend to hold on to things and sort of not move on after conflict. And that's what we saw a lot during wokeness. People were targeted for behavior or for making statements that were un-PC. And until, pre-wokeness, the way you would deal with a situation like that is you would have a debate. James Damore would be at Google and he would say, I think female underrepresentation in science is due to biological attributes and not bias. The way to deal with that is to have a conversation about whether he's correct or not. The way wokeness deals with that is by saying, I can't believe you just said that. I'm going to get you fired from your job. Wokeness was an inability to have any kind of open debate because the very existence of that debate seemed too much like conflict, and conflict had to be suppressed. And this was just so massively toxic for so many institutions since 2020. And the reason why I think it's important to consider whether wokeness is a product of demographic feminization is because if it is, that means wokeness is not over. A lot of people look around, they think, Donald Trump won the election, wokeness is finished, we can all move on, the vibe shift is here. But I think that if wokeness is just female patterns of behavior in institutions where women were not as well represented until recently, then that means it's here to stay and we need to deal with it head on. I think a lot of us would accept that in many cases, fields become more and more feminized, not because women are out competing men within that field, but because women are feminizing that field and making it more and more friendly to feminine preferences and patterns of behavior. Like if you're working at a business that is so HRified that it's like, the HR lady designed every aspect of your day-to-day office experience. She determined who advanced at that company, who got the best promotions and the best assignments, and everything was touchy-feely in a HRify type of way. Obviously, a masculine man is not going to do well in that environment, and he's not going to advance. But that's not because he's not competitive. It's not because he's not good at his job. It's just because that kind of highly feminized organization is not friendly to his virtues and attributes. Yep. So I think when we consider how do we deal with feminization, if it's something we want to roll back, how should we go about it? That's the first place to look. Are there any institutions or organizations that are too feminized in this unnatural way? So men are much better at resolving conflict and then moving on, whereas women tend to hold on to things and sort of not move on after conflict. And that's what we saw a lot during wokeness.
Extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Never do it. They'd give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades. And Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. They want them, go speak about the climate, go speak about abortion, go kill yourselves, go do that. Ilhan Omar, she's fighting for abortion rights and all the other, my body, my choice. Yes, go do that. But would she have an abortion? Never. Never. Would she kill a Muslim in her stomach? Never.
What is the fundamentalist and jihadi agenda for America?
The future of America has to be Muslim.